Hello everybody, welcome back. It has been a quite busy week for Star Citizen and CIG with updates on the production schedule report and the release date for the Alpha 3.0. We have heard some really great news regarding the development of Star Citizen and improvements happening on the planetary locations that will come with this very important update, and more specifically Levski and Delamar. Without any doubt, the highlight of this week was the concept sale of the Nox, an amazing little speedster, a space bike with similar capabilities to the Dragonfly that is focusing more on racing and combat and should definitely be in your hangar, should definitely be in your fleet eventually. So let's go ahead and discuss about the latest news, the news that we have heard in the latest week, and we're going to start with the most important ones, which are the update on the production schedule report. For the first time, CIG is leaving us a message, a short message, telling us that many of the features required for the Alpha 3.0 are complete, but there are other features that need a lot more work in order to provide us with a much better experience and the highest possible quality in the expanding persistent universe. I'm pretty sure that all of you remember that the Evocati PTU was scheduled to begin last week on June 21st, something that didn't happen, and the new dates for the Evocati PTU are from July 7th to July 20th. The White PTU is scheduled from July 24th to August 3rd, and the official release date for the Alpha 3.0 update is now from August 4th to August 10th. For the first time, CIG is telling us to treat these dates not as set dates, that, for example, the Evocati PTU will start on July 7th and finish on July 20th, but more like a time frame that the Evocati PTU is expected to begin sometime between July 7th and July 20th, something that I think we as the backers have been doing and have been treating these dates from the beginning of this whole process with the production schedule report. It is very unfortunate that we have to deal with another delay for the Alpha 3.0, but we do see the improvements every week. We do see how the planetary tech and the planetary locations and the other features are improving, are evolving, and we know that in the end we are going to have an amazing Alpha 3.0 on our hands and a brand new game totally different from what we have right now. Something else that I have to mention is that the new release date is very close to Gamescom. Gamescom this year is from August 22nd to August 26th, so if there is another delay, I think it is quite possible, what many of you have been saying for quite a while now, to happen, and to get Alpha 3.0 sometime around Gamescom. Sometime before, sometime after, we will have to wait and see. I hope that we will get Alpha 3.0 as soon as possible. If that doesn't happen and it means that we will have to wait until Gamescom, then I guess so be it. I am pretty sure that Alpha 3.0 is going to be amazing. It's going to be one of the best updates, one of the best transformations for Star Citizen ever. So we will have to be patient again for one more time, and I know that it sucks, but it is for the best, and in the end we are gonna have an amazing game on our hands. Talking about improvements on the planetary tech and the planetary locations, this week it was the Frankfurt Studios time to share their news and their work with us, and they always have nice stuff to show us. The scenes we got this week from Delamar, Levski and the Moonshot Star Citizen that will come with Alpha 3.0 were absolutely amazing, and the improvements are obvious. I really can't wait to get them in game so I can explore all these beautiful places. We're gonna start with the updated material distribution that we have heard some around the verse ago. Thanks to this distribution, this redistribution, the ecosystem ground materials have been improved on all 3 moons, adding a more varied breakup of the materials on the ground. This will definitely make the surfaces on the moons and Delamar look a lot more realistic and a lot more beautiful, but the improvements do not stop here. The surface of Delamar is getting its final polish, with geometry and materials being updated and fine-tuned, but also the surfaces in general are getting their FX pass, adding an extra layer of visual interest to the environment and atmosphere. More specifically, we have a lot of improvements on the areas around Levski and on Delamar, but definitely Levski is going to be a very important location since it is going to be our gate to the world of Delamar, to the surface of Delamar, from where we can grab our brand new Nox and go out there and explore. There are many improvements happening on the exterior but also the interior of Levski, and more specifically the customs area where all player traffic in and out will have to go through this checkpoint. And this is definitely a very interesting mention on the mechanics that will affect not only trading but also smuggling. This is from where we will have to pass if we want to smuggle certain stuff. And the goal of the developers is not to only make this area visually interesting, but also hard for players, hard for us to smuggle goods. Smuggling, to be honest, hasn't been mentioned many times until now by the developers, and it is nice to hear about this activity that will be in the game with the Alpha 3.0. We hear about trading, we don't hear about piracy, but it is tied to the trading. We haven't heard a lot about smuggling, so this is giving us an insight on how smuggling is going to work and what we will have to do in order to be successful. We will have to sneak by certain customs areas, not only Levski but in other space stations or landing zones as well, I guess. Work on the landing pads is almost complete as well, and they will provide the players with a steady landing, a stable solid landing point on what otherwise might be a rough landing. The developers are working on everything in the interior, on implementing room systems, elevators, consoles for spawning ships and vehicles. And in general, Levski will have a combination of hangars and garages to spawn ships and vehicles. Something that will be amazing for us because we will be able to land on Levski, go to one of the garages, request a Nox or an Ursa rover or Dragonfly, whatever you prefer, and go out there, start exploring the surface of Delamar. On some other news that have to do with trading, we have heard on Spectrum this week that we will only have one single small-size cargo crate for the first implementation of trading of the cargo system with Alpha 3.0. More and bigger crates will be added later with other updates. This is going to be for the first implementation of this system, and it helps us understand why when we were shown the cargo grid, the new cargo mechanic for Alpha 3.0, we were only shown one type of crates. Also, the main part of the work for the surface outpost is complete, and they are now in the hands of the environment art team, and I really can't wait to explore this surface outpost. The sneak peek that CIG released with the last newsletter is absolutely amazing, and it shows the potential of these outposts, the potential for players, no matter what kind of players we are and what kind of gameplay we want to follow. Work on the AI continues. The developers are working on achieving better identification of friendlies in order to avoid friendly fire, but also refine behaviors for first reaction to enemies seen and events heard. And the ship AI is one step closer to be fully controlled via consumption. We're not done with the AI, the developers are also working on the body AI, which means that the NPC will be able to intelligently follow a leader, follow us, and we will also be able to give them orders and have them perform a certain task, a certain activity. Something that is making the world of Star Citizen amazing, and it will allow us to have NPC companions as soon as this feature is in game, fully implemented in game, and later this feature could of course be expanded to creatures and maybe the pet system that we have already talked about. In the latest Around the Verse, we also had the opportunity to hear about the Solar System Ed, a new tool that is helping the developers to build solar systems and build their hierarchy easily. It is very easy for the developers using this tool to add sun, planets, moons, satellites and give them their orbital distances in a matter of minutes. Something that will allow CIG to create the hundreds of systems that we will have eventually in the Star Citizen universe. It was also very interesting hearing that the developers were working with astrophysicists in order to make the solar systems of Star Citizen as realistic as possible, and at the same time playable for the players. This process, this coordination with the astrophysicists, took almost a year, and because of this we can have the most realistic solar systems in a game that we have seen before. Last but definitely not least, the concept sale for the Nox is live. It will last until July 3rd, and this will give you the opportunity to buy, if you haven't bought already, an amazing open canopy racer with similar capabilities to the Dragonfly that is focusing more on racing and combat-oriented riders. This is an amazing new space bike with Xi'an technology. It is using magnet technology, and we can see many parts of the Nox floating around the main body of this space bike, remaining connected with magnetism. An alien exotic vessel that should definitely be in your fleet if you want to be prepared for the Alpha 3.0, planetary landings and ground exploration. This is everything I want to share with you today. I would love to hear your opinion about the new delay on the release date, and if you think it is possible, it is probable to see Alpha 3.0 sometime around Gamescom. I would also love to hear about the Nox, what you think about this new addition to the Star Citizen universe. I find it amazing. I have already bought mine, and I can't wait to start exploring the surfaces of the moons and Delamar with Alpha 3.0 with it. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. I am Squid of Love, and I will see you around the verse. Bye bye.